All right. Hello, hello. I am having some technical difficulties here. I don't know what is going on. Okay. Everything seems to have stopped what it was doing. Hopefully we can continue. All right. Welcome back to the Pigeon Tarot live stream. I have been gone for so long. 2 months. 2 months. That's all right. We are ready to get back into the action. Woo woo! But all for good reason. We had a good move. We moved and I got a promotion. Things are going good. Positive turnaround. So I cannot complain. Good, good, good. It's starting great. All kinds of new things coming in. Thank you, Garbodor, for the red flags. Always can count on you for that. Jokes. Now, new setup. I have moved everything to the opposite side of the desk. And hopefully it won't be so difficult to get used to. But this keeps turning on me. I don't know why. It's getting very annoying. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Let me try one more time to get my little cue program going. I don't know. It was going off the wall a second ago. We'll see if it'll open for us. It does say stream offline. Okay, so I may have to re-authenticate it. It says successfully connected. Let's see if it does what it's supposed to do. I don't know if it's working. Let's see, queue. Oh, I gotta open the queue. There we go. Now we've got it. Okay. Awesome, awesome. And what's this deck we're using? The Daydream Tarot deck. Always love it. I think it's what I was using last time I left. It just felt right. All right. Start us off with a question. How your romantic partner is feeling about you right now. Did you have a romantic partner last time you was on here? I don't think I remember that. What is she staring at? Well, at least 2 months ago. I think Halloween night was the last stream I did. Okay. So how is S feeling about bleed coding right now? Two of Swords. Queen of Swords, okay. The Lovers, but it's in reverse. And the World. I would feel like the World is a good conclusion to all of this. What is that? Oh, little Bobby Wrench. Okay. Two of Swords, reverse. Queen of Swords, reverse. And maybe this is just part of his personality. Two of Swords is someone who might constantly feel insecure or constantly be in their head worrying about the situation, right? So they may have their own, like, thoughts that this relationship's not going to last, or insecure seems right, or is this person going to cheat on me? I don't know if he's been hurt before. But they are very much in their heads. And usually when we see that Queen of Swords, it is somebody who is kind of used to being scorned in a way. So maybe they haven't always been lucky in love. And so that insecurity can come through in negative ways. It can make them latch on or become overly obsessive about certain minor details that may not really be important to the situation. So we do have some concern that maybe they are getting in the way of this connection being at the best way that it could be. But if you already understand their insecurities and understand that they're an insecure person, I feel like that is going to help in the long run there. And that may be why we have the World at the end, right? So I think that's kind of why we have the Lovers in reverse along with this. Again, like, there is a connection here, but we aren't feeling as secure in that connection. So there may be a lot of frustration that S feels, that maybe you don't feel the same way. There's a lot of concern. Again, they seem to be someone who has a difficulty just being happy and thinking that everything's okay and everything's fine. But we have the World. And typically when we see the World, we're going to think that that is going to end in a happy situation, that we are going to find our place in this relationship. And so if this is a newer relationship, I guess, it may take a little longer for them to get to that point. But when they get to that point where they feel like, okay, I'm safe here, like nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change, coding's not going to all of a sudden toss me to the side. When they start feeling secure in the relationship, it's going to be a really good relationship. That's what we have. Don't let their insecurities, maybe you can talk through with them, because they are someone, it seems, to be very much in their heads about this. They may need to let some of that concern out. Thank you. Thank you. What's wrong?
Too small.
It's too small. Because you got a Bobby wrench. Bobby wrench. All right. let us just do like a general for the coming year 2026. Since we are at the very beginning of it. Just a general for anyone who happens to come across and watch this stream. How is 2026 going to fare for us? Oh. Oof. You know, I have to think about that. Emperor in reverse. Because my first thoughts are going towards a King of Wands in reverse. But that's not quite the same thing. I would say that it is maybe more of a kinder energy here, because we have the Temperance to balance it out. So I don't necessarily think that Emperor is so like foreboding. Now the Seven of Cups, you know, that's kind of the card of the dream world, the possibilities, the illusions, unrealistic things. So I think it does mean in 2026, if there is goals that you have, if there is something that you're going for, we need to really plan it out. Think about if it is going to be practical. Because where we may receive kindness, kindness isn't what's going to get us to achieve our goals, right? So we do have to kind of balance out the work that we're putting in to get the results that we want. I think that's kind of where that is going around. The Six of Cups in reverse, I think it is pretty good for a New Year's card, because that is not focusing so much on the past. We're not so much concerned with how we went wrong in 2025. We're having maybe even a little bit of sympathy for ourselves. Like, okay, 2025 might not have been our best year, but we can still change things. We can still make things possible. We need to keep looking forward and keep looking towards the future, because this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year where you want to reinvent yourself and kind of really focus on what's next. You know, what can we set up in 2026 to get the best out of 2027? We are ready to cast aside the negatives of last year. Overall, I do think it is good. Good, because we are looking towards the future and future possibilities. We just need to make sure that we are doing the work to set that up for success. Woo! 2026. I'm like concerned about how focused Pigeon is over there. She will not take her eyes off of that washer. Probably just a ghost. That's all right. Ghosts. What is today? Today is Saturday? Today is Saturday, my dude. Hopefully we'll get some people in. I don't really know what... Maybe there's New Year's parties going on. I don't know. Let us see. Oh no. Ah, there we go. Oh, hello, Luna Soul Tarot. Luna Soul. Another fellow reader slash streamer here. Well, thank you, thank you. I don't know why I'm talking like that. I don't think I have come across you before in tarot streams. Did you just start recently? That's not what I want. Pigeon, by the way, the Pigeon Tarot. Pigeon is the name of my little black cat, so she is the mascot of the channel. A couple of months back. Okay. Yeah, I just took a 2-month hiatus. That's probably why I haven't come across you. There are some good people. There are some not good people. But there are a lot of good people here. We are going to hit ad break soon. So I will look for questions from the internet. Ooh, I need advice on whether I should date this man. Oh, that little box is not in a good spot. Where's my alert box? Maybe it is in a fine spot. I want to move it over here a little bit. Are you in ads, Luna? I'll answer your question. Ah, okay. All my readings are free to the dismay of some other readers. Just do exclamation point join. Question. Your question. To be added to the queue. Easy, simple, that's it. Also, no stipulations. Answer. Okay. The only thing I don't do is the adult readings, you know, if you know my meaning. I don't get into that because I don't know the age of the viewers that are on here, so I avoid that. but I will mostly answer any question, even if I don't know how to, because we have had some interesting questions here. And the overall energy is something to ask about. Yeah, we can ask about the overall energy of your current relationship. Look at you, only one in the queue. Pick next. Okay. So is that how we want to word it? What is the overall energy of your relationship? Energy check on, energy check on the specific connection between you and your significant other, I guess, is the accurate way to say it. All right. My camera keeps swiveling, and I cannot figure out what I need to tighten to keep it from swiveling. Okay. All right, let us see. Energy check for Luna, Soul, and their significant other. Ooh, the Hermit. Not normally a card that I like to see for a couple, but honestly, these other cards, you got some strong cards here. I like the King of Wands. I do like the King of Wands here with the Hermit. So it could just be about differing personalities. The Hermit is going to be someone who tends to go off on their own. Maybe they don't really speak out as much, or they internalize a lot of their feelings. So you may not always know or get a sense from them how they actually feel about you in this situation. But I think they are a good pairing with that King of Wands, because the King of Wands is going to be that more sympathetic king, right? So I think they're a really good balance. Will I say balance? I don't know if that's a balance. I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but I do think the Hermit and the King of Wands are probably going to work well together. I think the King of Wands can be more understanding of the trials or the issues that the Hermit may be going through. And the Fool. I have feelings about the Fool, but in this connection, it does kind of, I feel like it's more about maybe you or your partner aren't really like typical, so to speak. Maybe there's some characteristics, and that may be tied to whoever the Hermit is in this relationship, the Fool and the Hermit. So somebody who often seems a little bit out of place or a little bit odd to normal standards. But again, the King of Wands here with this Hermit and this Fool, I feel like in this relationship, we can develop ourselves, like we can be ourselves. So again, I think that is all positive and a good pairing for this relationship. Now the Ace of Wands in reverse. What do I want to think about that? I don't know if there's been feelings maybe lately, like maybe we've just sort of lost interest or kind of like lost, maybe we don't feel the value that we have. So I don't know, that could cause that hermit personality, that could cause them to kind of pull back from the relationship a little if they don't feel like they bring as much to the connection. So maybe that's where we're getting at. It could just be that there's a difficult time that they are going through mentally. Hello, controller. Good to see you. Let me see if we can get a little bit more on this Ace of Wands. So 5 of Wands, yes, it does seem like there is somebody who is having a lot of internal conflict. And then we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. All the wands in reverse. So that passion isn't coming out in the way that we would expect it. And some people, they don't know how to show that like romantic passion as much. And that could be part of this awkwardness, this hermitness. So that could be, I don't know, you having some difficulties in getting those emotions out of your partner or understanding what they're going through exactly, right? So again, not necessarily a bad thing as long as you understand this internal conflict that may be going on. It does look like somebody who doesn't feel good about themselves or who feels like they have failed in some way. And again, for that, they may pull back a little bit. But that doesn't mean that the relationship isn't still strong or there isn't still some value in here. I think with that Queen of Wands, especially, we can start to doubt each other's intentions, or again, doubt, we're thinking maybe this relationship isn't right for us because I can't offer this person what they deserve, that kind of feeling. So I think that's just more of like, be aware, be supportive. Like we can't always be 100% all the time in a relationship. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Again, I just think that it may cause us to, again, pull away or go silent. And with wands, I will say with wands, again, that's normally something that is short term. So it's not like we're going to be stuck in this feeling forever. It may be we're stuck in this feeling for a few weeks. Maybe we're stuck in this feeling for a few weeks, and maybe next month we'll be going through this again in a few weeks. That's how it's feeling. But again, I think these two characters, or at least this King of Wands, can be very supportive in this situation. The Hermit's not always going to reciprocate that support. And sometimes we understand that in our relationship, in our connection, that, we're giving a lot more than we seem to be receiving, but the Hermit may be showing things in different ways. They're a little bit of a different character. I think it's interesting, and I want to focus a little bit on the imagery here, how we're both carrying different lights. We're both carrying these lights. These lights are very important, right? But we carry them in a different way, in a different form. It doesn't mean that either person is less than, neither light is less bright than the other. It's just different. So it's all in how we understand each other in this connection. That's what I've got. Thank you. Thank you for coming in, checking out my stream. My dear public terms, it has been a long time. What's up? What's up with you? What's going on? Thank you. Thank you. I will check out your stream as well. That is not the button I wanted to click. If I happen to be on at the time that you do. You're not doing all too well, and you are wondering why. Clicking buttons here. Okay. Why? It's a very broad. Why is public terms not doing all too well? That's my effort to get these cards to bend in the opposite direction. I hate when they start curving like that. All right. Let's see what message we can come up with for public terms on why they are not doing so well. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, that's a good sign. Okay, it's just going to take time. Whatever it is we're going for is just going to take some time. I would say this Seven of Swords kind of relates maybe to your own self. And it's funny because I was answering a question for someone on this Seven of Swords just the other day. And so let me pull up what it is I said in here, because I feel like it may be a little bit relevant. Comments. Where are we? Okay. So we did discuss how this card is not about malicious intent. I think that is a big thing. Because a lot of times when we see that Seven of Swords, we think about deception. And I don't think it's that big. It's not about deception. Now, sometimes we take this option, we take these choices, we make these choices that aren't necessarily going to guarantee any kind of success for us. And sometimes they go against, what other people think we should do, what other people think is right, what other people think is normal. And so we can kind of lose a little bit of confidence in the decisions that we're making. And that's where that Seven of Swords comes in. We are kind of in a way deceiving ourselves in the fact that we're not just trusting the decisions that we've made, trusting the plan. Again, the Knight of Pentacles is going to take a long time to see the results that we want. So it is going to be a lot about patience. I want to say, I don't want to say continuity. What do I want to say? Like continued effort. Keep on going the direction that you were going before, right? It is going to pan out in a more positive way. Now, cards of concerns, the Five of Cups in reverse, the Two of Pentacles in reverse. The Five of Cups in reverse, I don't think is actually that bad. It's just kind of a message to be true to yourself, be true to what it is that you want, right? So it kind of ties in with that Seven of Swords. Like if you have decided this is your goal, this is where you want to go, then you need to keep at it. You need to have some confidence and be true to what it is that you want, right? When you don't continue in the direction that you're going, then that's when the negative is going to start to happen, right? Because the actions that you're taking are no longer genuine to what it is that you want. So it doesn't work out. And even if you did get a positive result, you're not going to be happy with it because it's not actually what you wanted initially, right? So then we have the Two of Pentacles. Let me think. The Two of Pentacles, when we see the Two of Pentacles, it's that guy that's juggling the cards, right? I'm thinking of that, right? It's been a while since I've looked at the normal Rider-Waite deck. So with that Two of Pentacles, again, we're taking part, we're engaged on the outside, but it's really nothing that we truly want, nothing that we want to go after, nothing that is inspiring us or nothing that we really want. We're just kind of doing it so that we can not run into difficulties, right? So we're just kind of going through the actions, going through the motions to make things move along as smoothly as possible, even though it's not what we want and it's not the goal that we really want for ourselves. So we're kind of stifling our own wants and desires. We're stifling our own passions. We're pushing them down, and it's going to cause problems. You're going to internalize a lot of that, and it's going to come out in negative ways. It's going to reflect in your life in negative ways. So, what is that? It's been a while. I don't remember what plans you had, what it is that you were striving for, what it is that you were going for, if you had specific goals. But basically, the Knight of Pentacles is just kind of like, get back on track. Get back to what you wanted originally. You need to do you need to be yourself, basically. You've got to let that need and want and desire out. Does that make sense? Did any of that pull any strings? Because that's what I got. It's not about just going through the motions. It's about actually doing what you want to do in life. You'll take what I got, I guess. Just kind of like, if you're not your genuine self, if you're not being true to what you want and true to your desires, then you're going to continue, like things are going to continue to not go well for you. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Good to see an old face or two. Makes me feel like not everybody has abandoned me. Now, I thought I had a good relationship question here, but I don't think that I did. It really didn't work out. Let's see. This guy, what is... Thinking of, let's call him... T-san. All right. So T-san was waiting for this girl to break up with her boyfriend. Eventually she did, but she wanted to wait before she got back into a relationship. So they're wondering if they should stay friends with her until she's ready to be in a relationship again, or to just move on. Should T-san wait for this girl? Oh, Page of Cups. Not what I expected. Death. Page of Swords. My first instinct with that is like, maybe, yeah, this girl, she is going through a cycle. She needs to get to the point where she is ready to fully move on and embrace the end of this relationship. You're here with that Page of Cups. You can be really good support towards her. But I also think that he needs to be a little bit smart about this. You know, watch the situation, see how it evolves. Don't be afraid to break away. But at this point, I do think it is important to kind of stay friends and support them. And, you know, maybe a deeper connection can form with that Page of Cups here. But again, that sword, we are ready. We are ready to take the next step, whether that be, you know, this is evolving into a relationship or cut ties, but that's further down the line. We need to kind of see how things evolve, see when she's ready to truly let go of this past relationship. And I don't know, they don't mention how quickly, how recently this breakup was for this girl. So there is going to be their own grief period that they're going through. Whether that relationship was good or bad or whatever, you always have that little grief period at some point that will crop up. So I would hang in there just a little bit. Be a friend to her and see what happens. But again, be ready to kind of cut ties when that time comes, if that time comes. Name says, Do people like my positive, energetic personality? I think it depends on the situation and the mood of the other person, but in general, King of Wands, the Star reverse, the Queen of Swords. I do think overall, yes, people do enjoy that positive energy, but I do also want to look at that sun, that not that sun, the star in reverse. So we have to think about, we do need to kind of think about how we come across to other people. If somebody is going through a really difficult time or kind of depressed or whatever, like they don't want you to try to change them. They don't want you to come up and be like, oh, everything's all rainbows and butterflies when it's absolutely not for them. So we can't have that like idea that my positivity is going to rub off on someone else, right? We can't let that one affect our own energy, but also understand that not everybody wants to be approached in that way. So that Queen of Swords, I think, is kind of that learning when to be super happy and positive, and also learning when to be a little bit reserved. You know, there are some situations that don't call for that positive energy to shine so brightly, I would say. But overall, I do think, in general, people do take this person, Name. They do enjoy the energy, but that doesn't mean that everyone will. So just be mindful of that. Interesting question. Midnight says, I was supposed to go on a date with a guy. They ditched him, stood him up, whatever. And now Midnight is not responding to their messages. They want to know if they are wrong for doing so. Page of Wands, the Chariot, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Overall, with that Six of Pentacles, I'm thinking, you know, give the energy that you're receiving. I don't see this as something that's really going to move along, and honestly, I would probably cut ties with this connection if that's how they're going to treat you. The Page of Wands is sometimes seen as a Becca, you changed your name. Hi. Page of Wands is sometimes a messenger, and sometimes just simply that. This is a message. Do not move on. Do not go forward. If they are not appreciating your value, if they are not giving you their time, then don't give that time back to them. That's what I see here, because Nine of Swords is just going to end up a mess. It's just going to end up bad. It's just going to be emotionally affecting you. You're going to be taking on the difficulties. You're not dealing with very mature energy anyways. So, I don't think they're wrong. Give them the energy that they are giving to you. Very simple. Because of a channel that you go to. Is this a channel of another 21 Pilots fan? I should give them a listen again. It's been a long time. But I used to love to listen to them. I don't know that I've really listened to music much at all lately, honestly. Hmm. Ah, okay, okay. I didn't realize that was a thing. It's been kind of a while since I've even looked at Twitch streams. Oh, that's cool. Huh. Yeah, I took a 2 months hiatus here. We moved and I got a promotion, and so it's been a big transition, a lot going on. So I kind of needed the time off. Really, the moving was the hard part. That really was affecting my mentality. So it's I don't really know. So I don't actually start until next week. And it's a new position within this company. So I'm not really sure. It's basically going to be a job that I've done before. I don't think it's anything new, but increase in pay, that's the important part, right? No, we moved just because our lease was up and I wanted to get out of the place that we were in. It just, the timing of it all worked out perfectly. Thanks the universe for aligning or whatever. So now I've moved to a place that's going to be closer to my new job. It all worked out very well. Um, Aside from the apartment downstairs getting broken into, no, the neighbors weren't so bad. I just felt like the place was like falling apart, and it's a super old building, and I was just like ready to get out of there. Well, Garbo has all them reptiles. I have Pigeon and Tyson's. Oh, and the pigs. 3 pigs. Pigeon and Tyson. iCow has been speaking with this. Who is it? Is it a coworker? Oh, they work in different departments. Always them coworkers. Yeah. And it's been working out well. We had two. And I don't want anyone to yell at me for this. We ended up adopting a third one who was being very much bullied by his cage mates at the store. So we sort of took him home. We kind of observed him for a couple of weeks and took him home. And honestly, they are getting well together. Here they are. Can we see them? That's Dougie. We know him. That's Butters. And that is Clyde, the new guy. And honestly, Butters, he's super old, so he's not at all, like, he's very submissive. He really doesn't have any interest in anything but food. Clyde, yeah. So, I also worry about potentially in the next year or so, we may have to separate him just because he is an elderly pig. So I kind of wanted to get Clyde introduced to them. And it's been going really well, honestly. Like, these three, their personalities just suit each other so well. And Doug's in charge. Everyone knows that Doug's in charge. And we're okay with that. We'll only have to worry a little bit when Clyde gets a little bit older. We'll have to watch him and just make sure that they continue to get along. But again, by that time, Butters may not be in the same cage with them. Butters, Clyde, and Dougie are South Park references. That was all Garbo's doing. So this coworker in a different department, I want to ask them out. I have a strong sense that she might in fact like me, and I'm going to be leaving the company. Should I go ahead, bite the bullet, and ask her out? Is that the question? I feel like it's a good time. Let's see what the energy of this situation is. The Hanged Man in reverse. The Chariot. Oh, the Page of Pentacles. The Chariot I don't like in relationship cards. I don't like really the Chariot in reverse in any situation. I don't think... I mean, I'm of two opinions myself. Oh no, I'm just doing questions from the internet. I would have to, I guess, pay for the service to do double streams, but I haven't tried streaming on any other platforms yet. I may end up trying on TikTok, potentially. But I just kind of wanted to get back where I'm familiar. And when I read questions of the internet, I just pull 3 cards. Chariot, right. Chariot, no movement. Nothing. I don't want to sound rude to this person, iCows, but I think it is kind of being nice. the hanged man in reverse isn't somebody who's really going to stick out. They're not somebody that we're going to be trying to really get the attention of. So I do think this is kind of just being nice, not so much flirtation, right? So honestly, I think we need to have a more real idea. I would focus on the move that you're making. I don't know, it's kind of tough. I'm gonna pull one more card. Other dimensions, of course, other dimensions. Nine of Cups. Okay, yeah. I really don't see this is gonna go anywhere. Yeah. Why do you want me to tell my secrets, Becca? No, it's literally just Reddit. Questions from Reddit. Unicorn cups? Unicorn cups. Unicorn card? Why is that a unicorn card? Even when it's in reverse? Is it the idea that that kind of happiness is unreal? It only comes by once in a lifetime? You've never seen it in your readings? Nine of Cups is really just contentment. And so sometimes that card is hard for somebody who has a lot of anxieties to see, you know? Hello, Raven! Hello, hello! Anxiety queen. Don't I know it? I'm an anxiety queen. That's why I couldn't. Whew, when I'm racked with anxiety, I can't get on here and stream. I can't do it. And that's what these past 2 months have just been horrible anxiety for me. Yeah, that's Garbo whistling. Garbo's been trying to take care of everything, mostly, for the most part. I did most of the heavy lifting. I took care of the physical stuff. He took care of all the other stuff. I think it's just easier. It's a lot easier when I'm just reading a chat and talking back to it. I don't talk to people in real life. Hello, Cozy. Happy holidays. And, you know, I don't do the face cam thing because of my anxiety. I'm constantly like looking at myself. It's there. It's there. It's too hard. It's too hard to focus on the readings and have the face cam. And everyone's like, you have to show your face. If you want viewers, you have to show your face. You know, I'm sorry. My viewers aren't showing their faces either. Oh, Scrubs. Yeah, I'm curious to know. Like, part of me is like, I really hope it's not just horrible, but also excited. I used to love Scrubs. Thanks for noticing my anxiety. All right. What is something that Raven needs to hear right now? Queen of Swords. Huh. The message you really need to hear is kind of having trust in yourself to work things out. That Queen of Swords is tough. I don't like seeing it in reverse. But when we see that High Priestess in reverse, we're not being very in tune with our inner selves, or there's something that we're not quite seeing. Like, we're not focused so much on our internal growth, right? We may be too concerned about everything outside of ourselves. And so that Queen of Wands and that High Priestess don't always go well together. Now, some people do see a Queen of Wands as kind of a vain character, but I think it's realization that the power that we hold is within us and not so much externally gained or externally shown. So we need to have that confidence in ourselves. We need to bring that out. We need to have that balance right there. That Two of Pentacles is all about engagement, how we engage our internal world and our external world, how we engage with our physical world around us. You know, Pentacles are very physical. Things become a lot easier for you when you participate in life, when you participate in other things outside of yourself. And that is where you can shine if you have that confidence. Queen of Swords tends to turn around and shy away from the outside world. They like to be very isolated, and they don't always trust other people or interact with other people. And that's kind of a hard way to go about things. So the cards are really telling you you need to be more engaged, not just on where to get this confidence. Not just engaged on in the surface level of things, right? But how do we truly get our heart into it? How do we truly get passionate about things in the physical world? How do we truly engage and enjoy the world around us? When you figure that out, then you're going to gain that confidence. So it is very much pushing yourself to go beyond this isolation and beyond this false front that we may put up. How do we be more genuine in how we interact with the world around us? Does that make sense? That's what I'm getting. Being actually genuinely, physically engaged with the world around us. Too much work. Too much work. Whew. I know it. speaking of being engaged with the outer world, this person, this piranha, we'll call it a piranha, is concerned because the guy that she's dating doesn't ever like any of her selfies, doesn't ever like any of her pictures. Right? So cringe. So she's like, how can he be interested in me if he doesn't like my pictures? You need to like my pictures. You need to show me that you're interested in. And that's not really, like, I don't ever expect Garbo to check social media. That's just not his thing. Now, there's no age given, but if they're like, what? If they're like in their 20s, I would expect them to be a little bit more engaged in social media. But just because they aren't liking your pictures and internet stalking you doesn't mean that their feelings aren't genuine. So, why? Why is this guy I'm dating never engaging with my social media? We'll see if it's more nefarious or if it really is. Hello, Rocket Teats. Thank you, thank you. Queen of Cups. Ooh, Knight of Swords in reverse. Justice in reverse. All reverses. Okay, maybe this guy isn't the one. You think my camera's just upside down? Oh, the deck's upside down. I don't think so because we have plenty of reverses. Okay. And uprights. Oh, the Chariot was in reverse a while ago. Yeah, with that Queen of Cups, I don't see genuine interest. Which is interesting because normally when you're trying to like flirt with someone, you're trying to, get them interested in you, you're probably gonna go and like their post or whatever. But maybe they're past that point. The point is with that Queen of Cups, they don't really have any real intentions to move forward. Isn't it weird to not read for an actual live person? Not really. It's honestly really good practice. And it's better than just sitting here in silence. At least people can kind of see how I'm reading the cards and kind of seeing if, they enjoy the energy or something, If I had people asking a bunch of questions, it would be a lot easier, but I don't. So, Knight of Swords in reversed. Again, we're lacking the movement. We're lacking the care in this situation. I don't think their actions are very purposeful. And honestly, they don't care enough. Honestly. Justice in reverse is interesting because normally that's like a severe, like more harsh, like even like this person really doesn't like you type situation. But overall, I just don't think they have that much interest here. Now, I won't say that someone never liking your selfies or liking your pics doesn't mean that they're not interested in you, unless you see them going around liking other people's pictures, liking other females' pictures and posts and selfies. Then I think you got your message there. The interest is not genuine. They could care less what you're doing day to day. They could care less what outfit you have on, right? The secret admirer. The secret admirer. Why it's not work for you? What is that J that you've got here? Yeah. What is that J that you just used? That is not a normal J. Okay. Against the letter J? Hi, Tyson. Hi, Tyson the Bison. What you doing? What is going on with Raven's secret admirer? Let's check in. Ooh, 3 of Cups. Ooh, 3 of Swords in reverse. Ooh, 7 of Cups in reverse. And we have a 10 of Wands. Interesting, interesting. You know, normally when I see 2 numerals inverted or reversed or, you know, opposite, they kind of cancel each other out in a way. Blocked energy, I guess, is a way. So they are having a difficult time right now, and I feel like that comes with gaining fulfillment in some area of their life, whether that be with relationships. Potentially we could look at that like maybe they've recently got out of a bad relationship, or they've just not been having much luck when it comes to relationships. So it's a little bit disheartening, and they're having a little bit difficult time like staying positive and gaining strength and really feeling good, I would say. So they're focusing a lot on potentially even their own negative traits, or they may be focused on other people's negative traits. They may be in that phase where, you know, they would love to be around people, to engage with people, but right now they can't stand people. They hate people in a way, if that makes sense. And so where they would want to get in a relationship, where we see that 7 of Cups, where they might want to have this good relationship with other people, again, they're not really taking practical steps in order to make it happen. They're focused a lot on, again, the negatives of other people. So it's just, at this point, achieving a relationship, achieving a connection with anyone just seems completely unrealistic. And with that 10 of Wands, they may even be sort of giving up, not putting the effort in. They're only expecting bad things to happen. They're only expecting rejection to happen. And so they're unwilling to make any effort. So that's where they kind of stand. And I think that's kind of maybe what we've seen before. It's not that they don't still like you in some way. It's not that they don't still admire you in some way, but they're at a loss for love. And I feel like we've talked about that before too with them, possibly. It's been a while, I don't know. But they just don't have much faith in relationships. And so they're kind of pulling back and unwilling to engage with other people. They feel like it's just not worth the effort, basically. They would love to have it, and that's why it's kind of conflicting. They would love for this just to fall into place, everything align, and, you know, it just go easily. But they're kind of keeping that flow from happening. So their own lack of effort is really not helping anyone's situation, not helping anything move forward. And maybe even having negative effects on them. I think a lot of people could probably relate to those feelings of I should just give up on love Even if I like this person, it's just never gonna work. It's hopeless. I just... Really? Why are you agreeing to that, Garbo? Thank you. Rocket Teats. Tyson, are you alright? You sort of fell off the table. I don't even know where he went. Was that you, Tyson? Thank freak. That's Pigeon right now. She's just ignoring the world. Can't even see that she's a cat because her eyes are closed. Cheap, low stakes betting does still count as gambling. Yes. I don't... You know, sometimes this was them playing together earlier. They normally don't stand so close. There's Tyson and there's Pigeon. But you can't really expect to win anything from low stakes betting, but you can still enjoy it. I feel like unless you're really trying to make money, that's the way you should do it. Safe, easy, just enjoy it. Low bets. That's fine. It's still gambling. It is fine.
No, it's not.
There's another picture of Tyson being a bison. And sometimes people just do it like casually. They just do it like, why not? I'm here. Let's just put some money down. It's probably a better way to like not become super addicted to gambling. I don't know. I'm no expert here. Rocket Teats wants a general. I don't know. This coming from someone who basically threw away $1,000 in Vegas once in my life. I tend to go to the low tables though. Damn. Look. If I had won, it would have been amazing. My brother won $5,000 off one. I think he was playing 3-card poker. I don't remember, but he won $5,000 off one hand. Had some kind of royal flush and got some kind of bonus. So I was just like of the mind that I could do it too. I don't know. Still, he got out of there with more money than I did, so I don't think he was complaining. Alright, general for Rocket Teats. Oh, you got the Justice upright. You got the Page of Swords upright. Okay. You got a 3 of Swords reversed and a 9 of Wands. Let me think about that 9 of Wands imagery. 9 of Wands, 9 of Wands. I forgot these cards you're supposed to read intuitively, but I'm still going by the meanings that I am familiar with. Well, this is a new desk setup, so I don't know that Tyson's comfortable with laying on it yet. So just a general. I like Justice. I like the Page of Swords. And it's sort of like, almost like feeling like things will work out eventually. So we're going to keep going forward. We're going to keep trying. We're going to keep making effort. It's interesting with that 3 of Swords right there in reverse, because sometimes we do get a little bit lost and we tend to focus on the wrong things and maybe we take a wrong turn somewhere. But it doesn't mean that you're really still, that you've gone off path. It doesn't mean that things can't still work out for the best. And what it is with that Nine of Wands, it's kind of, it's your willingness to keep on pushing forward, to keep on going despite difficulties, despite confusion, despite losing your way. If you keep pushing forward, then you're going to get positive results from it, right? Do not stop. Do not back down. Keep on going for what you think is the correct course of action, the correct path for you. As long as you're putting in that genuine effort and continuing to try, then you will get positive results in the end, even when things don't seem to be going well for you. It's just your own willingness to keep on going, to keep on trying. That's going to get you to what you want. That's the general I've got for you, Rocketites. I'll keep doing what I'm doing then. Sometimes I'm a little sus when people say that, because it's like, I've been doing nothing and you've told me to continue doing what I'm doing, so I'll continue to do nothing. Path of least resistance. Least resistance. Oh yeah, see if all the lights went off. I got a big yawn too. I still do something sometimes. Hey, even little steps in the right direction are valid. It doesn't have to be all in one go. It doesn't have to be giant leaps. Just as long as you aren't hurting your progress, right? So, Becca says, why is it so easy for me to love people who don't feel the same about me? And I feel like you are not the only person in the world that feels that way. It does seem as though you are somebody. Well, we already know that you're like empathy queen. But you are more willing to give people chances, more willing to see the good side of people before you focus on the negatives. And most people don't think that way, unfortunately. Most people pick out the negatives in other people right away. That's just how they're accustomed to life. They think, if I can pick out a negative fault in this person, then they're not going to see the faults that I have. Something weird like that, you know? So, if you don't get that love back from someone else, it's okay. It just means, you know, they're not the person that you need to focus on, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. Feeling some type of way. I just made that up. I don't know what that song is. Everyone has red flags, and the internet will make a red flag out of anything, right? The most ridiculous one, I'm sure you've seen the TikToks. Everyone has seen the TikToks, I'm sure. A red flag can be the initial of your first name. If it starts with a J, that's a red flag. If it starts with an M, that's a red flag. So, it kind of takes the value out of red flags. What are you saying? Yeah. It's becoming an overutilized term. This person parks in their parking spot backwards, that's a red flag. What?
Don't we have a magnet in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, I took it out because we were plugging everything in. It's probably still laying there. And do you feel like you don't get close enough to them because they don't let you, or you don't get close to them because you hold back yourself? I mean, it's kind of natural. A natural instinct, especially depending on the environment you grow up with, is to protect yourself. And unfortunately, trying to protect yourself often becomes toxic behavior. Right. Sometimes we have to untrain the stuff that has been ingrained into us. And some people can't do that. Some people aren't even aware of the red flags that they have. Anyways, I'm kind of going off here. Becca's question. Why is it so easy for Becca to love people who don't feel the same way? And you're just by default that kind-hearted person. It's funny that we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. But we can see that Queen of Cups in reverse. Sometimes that becomes that codependency. And so sometimes you can't help but, like the feelings that you have. I don't know how to explain this in this way. What my thought is. But you know how codependency works. How somebody is being to you, acting towards you, you kind of take that on yourself. Like, this is, my problem. This is my fault. That's part of that empathetic side. Not being able to create clear boundaries. Not boundaries. Clear, defined lines between your feelings towards somebody and their lack of feeling towards you. If that makes sense. It makes sense in the way that I'm thinking in my head. I don't know if it's really coming across the way that I want it to. I think it's funny that we have the Three of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Ace, the Page of Wands in reverse here. That's the part I don't know. Three of Pentacles. What do I want to say about that? When I see the Three of Pentacles in an upright position, I normally think of somebody who is recognized for the efforts that they are making, for the skills that they have. They're being recognized for what they have to offer. And I don't think that you've been around people that have really recognized the value that you have. That's where that Three of Pentacles in reverse is. And maybe you would think that the Three of Pentacles would be more like, you aren't as valuable as you think you are, which is really mean to say, and that's not what I'm saying. I do think that people aren't able to see the value that you have or what you have to offer. That's why they're not connecting with you. So it's like, okay, here's a nice person, here's a pleasant person to be around, but they're not necessarily somebody that I'm going to form a deep connection with, that I'm going to invite into my world and into my bubble, right? Because they're dumb and blind. And I don't know how you come across to other people. They could think that maybe the way that you're coming across may not feel as genuine as well. Because sometimes with that Queen of Cups, we also see somebody who may be nice, who may be friendly, who may be forthcoming, but we think that there's no real intention behind it. It could just be like a miscommunication. They don't think that your intentions are real. They don't think that your value or that you value them in that sense. And again, we can be kind to people, but there's a difference between just being nice and pleasant and being like, hey, I really want to get to know you. I want to be engaged. I want to, date you. I want to see if we can build a relationship. And so I think that's where that difficulty comes. How do we move from one step to the next step?
Sir, you can't eat ketchup.
He can eat ketchup if he wants to eat ketchup. I don't know. Is ketchup toxic for cats? And then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. And when I see that, we sort of kind of lose meaning. We may lose our own sense of value. We may lose... I don't know what I want to say there. So the idea behind everything is that in this set of cards that you seem more complacent, or people don't understand your intention or understand your value in a connection, don't understand that you want to take things further. Or it could be that the people that you have been involved with don't reciprocate those feelings. But I don't think that's without hope, because we have the Eight of Wands. Eventually, we will find our target. But it is something that you would have to probably step up the effort into. And yeah, that's where I'm like, you have to put your more effort into it. If it is that you really want to find somebody, if you really want to find a connection, if you really want to find love, then you are going to have to be more pushy, more forthcoming, not just complacent, as I said, because they don't understand that you want something more. They don't understand that you are interested in them. It's more like, this is somebody who's being pleasant and nice to me. It's not on the guy. That is what we think of. We think the guy should come towards us. We think the guy should ask us out first. But that is not how the modern world is. The woman has to make effort. Because guys get into this role where they have been rejected, or they have been with horrible women, and so they don't want to make the effort anymore. They don't want to ask anyone else out. They don't want to engage with any other females. It can go both ways. So if you are interested in someone, then you should let them know that you're interested. There is no roles in this day and age anymore. Though, I will say, if Garbo never invited me out, we probably just would have been in that talking phase forever. It doesn't hurt to say I like you to anyone. It doesn't hurt to say that. That's not bold. That's not bold for a female to do. I see females all the time saying, I like you. Whether that means as a friend or more than that, it is not too bold for a female to say. Absolutely not. You got to get out of those gender roles, because gender roles are not modern. Modern, is that the right word? Stereotyping. Yeah, I would say, and I think we're not that far off from each other in age. I don't know. I'm probably a lot older, but I'm like 80 years old. But I understand that feeling growing up, especially in high school. I didn't really talk to guys much because my thought is if a guy was interested in me, they're going to come up to me and they're going to ask me out. But that's not how it is nowadays. That is not how things work. Nowadays, we're in constant communication with each other. We're constantly texting. We're constantly online. We're constantly liking Instagram posts, talking on Facebook, talking on Threads, talking on whatever. People flirt openly. People say things that they shouldn't say openly and in public. It's just the norm. It's casual conversation now. Dudes are scared to talk to women. A lot of men, it depends on what men that you are interested in as well. Like if you're into the shy, nerdy type, they're definitely never, ever going to ask you out. And you're probably going to have to be more forthcoming with your feelings like that. Everyone is scared to talk to each other. And that also creates problems too, because when people come up to you and are very open, right? And are like, I'm interested, let's go back to my place. When people are like that, then you don't trust them. Because that seems unusual. That seems abnormal, right? If you love the shy, nerdy musician type, they're going to be quiet. They're probably going to keep to themselves. They're probably going to stay home. You're going to have to make the effort there. And see, that's why I like dating apps, because you know the person's intention is to get a date. They may want more from, dating apps are apparently overrun with AI now too, so that's difficult. But that is how I got out there. Because when I'm on a dating app and a guy likes my profile or sends me a message, right, I know that there is some interest in there and I'm going to talk to them and see if we can have a date. It makes things a little bit easier for some of us who aren't so socially adept. You can ask, though. You can ask what their intention is. They aren't always forthright, but you can let them know up front, hey, look, I want to go on an actual date. I don't want to just have a one-night stand. Do they even call that anymore? I'm not looking to just go and hook up. And if they're not okay with that, then you know that's not somebody you want to go out with. You can say, all right, no, it was a good time, bye. You don't have to hook up with them.
What if they're really hot, though?
And you can do like, hey, do you want to just go grab lunch somewhere? I need to go somewhere after this. Like, you can set the time to where there's no time for fooling around. There's no time for bed activities, right? I don't know. It's difficult, and you're always going to question it, and you're going to get caught up in your head about it, and then you're just not going to ever try. But you can also just get on a dating app and talk to somebody and not set a date. You know, you can feel out the waters, you can test it, you can see if you enjoy the conversation with somebody before a date ever happens. And I think when I got on a dating app, I intentionally looked for those nerdy guys. I put on my profile that I was into gaming, and I think that's all that I put on there. And so I made sure that the other person that I messaged was also into gaming. I think the first time I talked to somebody, we literally just got in a party on Xbox and played a game together. So easy, so casual. So it's not always like a big deal. It's not always like end of the world thing. It's not always like I have to commit and now I'm stuck with this person for the rest of my life. You can pass. You can be like, oh, I'm not feeling it. I don't really want to go out with you. That's okay. But you won't know until you try. Until you try having a conversation with the idea that we're going to go on a date. You got to get over that little obstacle. I've had dates that weren't like really dates. I've had a date where I've gone to a movie and we didn't speak the whole time, and I was like, okay, see you later. Like nothing. That obviously didn't work out, but sometimes you just need to dip your foot in. You can literally go on your profile and say that exactly. You will find somebody who will match with you. It may take a while, but you can be honest and find somebody. I put stupid shit in my profile, honestly. You don't have to be on there like, I want to go and party all night and, whatever people do nowadays. And you also got to realize that you are looking at the person's profile too. If that person likes you or messages you, you're looking at that profile, you're looking at their interests. If they're sitting there saying they're a nature person or they like to work out all the time, that's a lie. Tyson, what you doing? What you doing, Tyson? Hi, Tyson. Hi, Tyson, not Bison. The world may never know. I think that's about Tootsie Pops. All right. Cozy, what kind of nonsense would you like? Your mom comes hide your messages. But it's just a thought. Like, you can download a dating app and just talk to people without taking it any further. You know, you can tell them, oh, I'm not really interested, or, you know, good talking to you. That's it. It doesn't have to be so serious a commitment. It just kind of gets you used to talking to someone about your interests. And we need that first step. Chill right now, so just a general reading. Uh-oh, Cozy's chill. What has happened these past 2 months? General for Cozy. What about, like, you go what? You go on forums, or you go to other live streams that involve 21 Pilot? I'm sure there's some guy on there that probably doesn't get very many girls because 21 Pilot's their favorite band. It doesn't suck. I like 21 Pilot. But it's not really like I feel like a guy thing, right? Literally never. I'm sure you have heard one of their songs on the radio at some point in your life. There's one from a movie. What movie was it?
That's crazy.
No, it's a very famous song. Garbo's being a hater. Like anyone knows his obscure bands. Heathens! Yes, Heathens. What was that, from Suicide Squad or something? I don't remember. No one, but that song was blasting everywhere. Literally everywhere. You've probably heard it. No, I'm saying that it was a super famous song. It was playing everywhere at the time. Oh my gosh. Garbo. All right, General for Cozy, who is cozy in bed. Oh. Okay. I mean, the Ace of Cups ain't bad, even though in this card he looks pretty concerned. He looks pretty stressed. Stressed out, yes. That was another one that I constantly heard on the radio. Now, King of Wands is good. King of Wands is still a positive figure. Now, the thing with King of Wands is that not everybody likes a King of Wands. Because King of Wands, most of the time, is very pleasant. Most of the time, we like them. They don't mean to be causing problems. But sometimes the way they act, other people don't like them so much. And when we see that High Priestess again, we think of somebody who's kind of vain. And that might be where that comes out. Like maybe inside, really nice and kind, but on the outside, they may appear like somebody who really is focused on only themselves or only focused on their own appearance or whatever that is. So they don't come across as this kind, friendly person sometimes. You get haters. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That would make me think that you could do a lot of really nice things, a lot of really great things, but I do think that your focus is maybe not so positively inclined to what it is that you want. Wait, what it is that you're going, I don't know where, kind of lost the end of that sentence. It's like you have a lot to offer. You have a lot of good that you could do. You have a lot that you could help other people with. But when people see you, they don't see you as somebody who's going to be that kind and generous, kind of giving person. So the way that you go about things may be a turnoff for other people. And by that I mean they may be less likely to approach you or to engage with you because they think that your motives might not be so genuine or maybe more self-invested. But there is a sincerity about you. There is a good heart about you. And I think you need to let that come forth a lot more. I think you need to let people see that nicer, softer, more loving side or more joyful side. I think you need to pull that out a little bit more. And that's just going to help you kind of get where you want or get what you want. Because you might have difficulties getting what you want by acting, I don't want to say acting, but by being more selfishly focused. I don't know if that's the word I want to go for. That's how you appear to come across to people. But be a little bit more gentler. And I feel like that's saying what? You catch more, what's the saying? You catch more flies with honey? Is that the saying? That doesn't sound right. But it's like not so much about working on yourself. It's just more about coming across with a more positive, happy energy that's more sincere. You catch more flies with honey? Is that a thing? Is that a saying? Am I just making that up?
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're coming across as nice and pleasant and with beautiful energy and people are over there hating you, then you know for sure that they are not the right people. They can just fudge off, right? But try the softer, nice approach first before making that decision, I guess is what we're saying there. You catch more flies with honey. Yeah, okay. That keeps coming across. I'm just not sure if I'm saying that right. But that's your message. You always see through it all. Well, sometimes it's not about trying to see through it. Sometimes it's just about, I'm going to come through here. I'm going to be smiling. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be beautiful. And I'm going to be like, hey, you girl, you're so beautiful to other people. And if they don't receive that well, oh well. We don't care. We're not trying to catch someone. We're not trying to see through their facade. We're just going to stay happy and positive. And that's not just for you. That's for the energy around you. That's for the other people around you who also are those positive people. Is that outside? No. All right. We don't need x-ray glasses. What can I do about engaging with my secret admirer? What are you doing? So what are you doing? Okay. Lock the door. How can Raven engage with this secret admirer? There's two problems with this scenario, though. You, who's not the so engaging person, and this other person who also is not so engaging. It seems like an impossible feat. Two parallel lines don't meet. The Empress. Oh, the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords, that's funny because that is the card that we got with this person. The Nine of Wands. Did I know we've had the Nine of Wands in a reading before, but not in reverse. Okay. The Empress. It's not math here. It is math. Now the Empress. If anybody responds to me with, so what do you want? Or is there a question? That comes across as somebody who doesn't want me around. They aren't wanting to engage with me. They are very impatient. So yeah, I would just be like, okay, never mind. Now, it is difficult to judge that without knowing a history between you and a certain person. Stop talking to that person. So I don't know if there's some background to why they think that you're trying to get something out of them. And they have that expectation that you're just trying to get something out of them. But if I was just trying to talk to somebody who I thought was my friend and that's how they approached me, what do you want? Then yeah, I'm gonna be like, you know what, never mind, I don't want your energy. I'm just gonna, don't call me, don't talk to me. But this is coming from somebody who doesn't really have friends in real life, so I'm quick to cut off people for less. But honestly, I'm not vibing with that. What do you want? No. Never mind. I don't want anything. Get away from me. So the Empress, Raven, the Empress does kind of focus on their own internal growth. And it's kind of funny, now that I'm thinking about it, when we see the Empress and we do think about pregnancy, not for you, I'm just saying in general, people think of this card as being pregnant, but it's not so much. It's more about focus on internal growth, what is growing within you, right? Yeah, Cozy, that's hard to get. But the Empress, focus on yourself. Because your own internal growth is going to lead to your external growth. And that's kind of what we already talked about before, like trying to get you to push yourself to focus more on what energy you bring into the world outside of yourself. That internal growth leads to external growth, right? Leads to love, bringing in love into your life. So first step towards engaging with your secret admirer is that internal work that we talked about earlier. And that I feel like talked many times to you before. Engaging with the world around you. And I mean, expect there to be. Remember that Three of Swords we were talking about, not only relating to your secret admirer, but relating to some confusion. Are we on the right path? Are we doing the right thing? And we get confused in our mind. We get confused in our head, right? So, yeah. You're just like, I guess I'll be the hermit. Well, I don't think you quite see the effect that you can have on your own situation, or you're not quite willing to make that happen. You're not at that point. It may take some more pushing, it may take some more time, it may take some other event to happen in your life to get you to start focusing on that idea. That's okay. You want to be the hermit right now? Continue to be the hermit. Eventually, you'll get to the point that you need to get to. It seems overwhelming right now. It doesn't seem like realistic work. It doesn't seem like something you can do. That's where that Nine of Wands comes in. That's fine. That's fine. But you will get to the point. See, with that Five of Cups in reverse, eventually things align for you. And we let go of the things that, the actions that we may be doing, we let go of the things that don't align with what we want, what we value. Now, with that Five of Cups, we can also think that eventually, long from now, things may just work out. Eventually, this person is going to accept you how you are. But that's going to be a long time. And I think that's kind of where the thought always comes in when we've talked of your secret admirer. They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Things aren't where they need to be. And there could be, and I would say this is both parties involved, there could be some issues with self-acceptance overall. And that's not just about being complacent and being like, I'm not going to do any work, I'm just going to be fine where I am and how I am. That's a little bit different than being fully accepting of who you are and of yourself. And you may just not be at that point, or be at the point where you understand exactly what that means for you. And that's okay. You can't push your secret admirer along any quicker, and the cards can't push you along any quicker. When you're ready to get out of your hermit phase, you will embrace that Empress phase. And like I said, that stages. The Empress is stages. It does start with internal acceptance, internal growth. Eventually that will move to external acceptance and external growth. And eventually that will bring in creation of something new. That is the energy of the Empress. Thank you, Raven. How do you say this name? Lily Lat. Thank you, Cozy. Or is it just Lily? Lily's easy. Tyson is good. Like I said, we have a new setup with the move. He actually seems to be very happy where he is right now. He can watch things. Tyson! Hi, baby. He's in the dark. He's in the dark. But he is like a foot away from me, and he is fine not being on the table. There's not as much room for him to spread out. He takes a lot of room. All right. Let me shuffle a couple of times in the wrong direction. Why we keep asking about a cat cam? If I knew where to focus. I do have another camera. So maybe I'll figure out how to set that up. It shouldn't be too hard because I already have a second cam set up. I just need to plug it in, I guess, if I know where I put that webcam. We'll look at that. All right. This chapter that Lily is in right now. Oh no, Lily. La 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 la. Now I think the sun is still okay when it's in reverse, if I'm not mistaken. It is contentment overall, even though it's not quite as happy as you would like it to be. And that's fine. Sometimes things aren't going to be always extremes. It's not always going to be extreme happiness. It's not always going to be extreme chaos either. So we can kind of just be content where we are for now, and that's okay. Is this a 4? Hold up. Sometimes I have problems reading Roman numerals in reverse. Excuse me. Seems dumb. But a 4 of Swords in reverse. It does seem that we are very cautious, and this could be because of something that has happened to us recently or happened even further back. It could be something that has caused this cautious behavior. We don't want to just jump right in because we don't feel at ease to do so, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And it's funny because the Hermit in reverse is also about being overly cautious without not necessarily any reason to do so. It could be just related to our fears or anxieties, right? So these two cards, we are being very cautious, very cautious. And that can cause things not to be as good as they are or as good as they can be. Overly cautious. Okay. Now we have the Two of Cups, and so that's interesting because typically that Two of Cups is going to be involved with somebody who has not had good intentions towards you, or somebody who has specifically been malicious without much reason to do so. It's just kind of their personality. And so that is somehow tied to this cautiousness. So it seems like we have been hurt before, or, you know, this can be by anyone. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be family. It can be friends. It can be some meaningless person who the hurt that they caused has kind of stuck with us. So we're just kind of happy, not happy, but we're going to be okay where we are because it feels safe. We're not going to strive for anything extreme because we're going to be okay where we are. We're safe right now. And we kind of don't want to get out of that comfort zone. So that's kind of where we're stuck at. Not much progress is going to happen. Not much is going to happen at all when we're in this state. And again, not necessarily horrible, but we can't have much expectation for things to change when we're being too cautious like that. That's kind of what I got. You get the message. And I will say, we go through periods of time where sometimes we just need to stay in our little safe bubble. We're not going to be there forever, but for everyone, it's going to be different how long it takes you to get out of that phase. I would say for me to get out of that phase was probably a couple of years. But it can happen sooner. It can happen later. You got to take things at your own pace. Sometimes talking to other people can help move you out of it faster. Sometimes putting your trust in someone and taking some chances can move you out of there a little faster, but it's different for everyone, so don't judge yourself too harshly. What is Becca singing here? If a number gets transferred to a new person, the voicemail wouldn't say as the previous person, but I had gotten calls from some person who thought I was someone else a while back, but the thing is that just happened. I'm in shock. Yes, I do have Tumblr. Tumblr is where I started. I have a Tumblr, and now my Tumblr is kind of like just where I have people ask questions, and I answer them on TikTok in videos. Do I watch other streams? I haven't in a while, because I haven't been on Twitch in a while. Um, I have no idea what you're talking about, Becca. Is there any particular oracle that you want? We have a lot that we haven't used in a while. We have the animal spirit. We have the RPG oracle thing. We have the women's oracle, the animal oracle, the mythical oracle. Is it mythical women? We have a lot. Carnival oracle. Ugh. We have the whatever oracle is closest in my reach oracle. The animal oracle. Okay. I reorganized my decks. Well, I guess it wasn't really reorganized because we moved. The trash animal is easy enough to find. Can I shuffle this one? I think I can. Alright. Oracle. The Raven. Ooh. Alright, these cards are the ones that stick together. Okay. I mean, it's on brand for you. Or for our readings. The Dumpster Fire. Upheaval and Revelation. Suddenly, life got flipped and turned upside down. You suffered a significant change and must abandon what you once knew in search of new truths. Slowly or all at once, these foundational changes are never easy, and you might be wrestling with a variety of emotions. However, in times of change, we find the strength to grow, reflect, and reinterpret our will to survive. Plus, there's probably another dumpster one block over, so it's all good. So, do you let change freeze you in place? Is the question. For you right now, yes. Is upheaval more familiar to you than peace? I would say unwillingness to change is going to keep you frozen in place here. But you must find the strength to grow, reflect, and reinterpret your will to survive. That's telling you can't stay in one place forever. Eventually, you're going to have to change. So you might as well do it when you decide to do it. Whether rather than being forced to do it when you're not ready to do it, right? Yes, of course I answered the question. Based on the readings of the night and all the readings before. Where did I put the other webcam? Why must Rapunzel leave the tower? If you think about it, eventually the old witch is going to die, and Rapunzel will be stuck there, locked in the tower, until she dies. Slow and painful death, you know? Isn't Rapunzel like based off of one of the Grimm's fairy tales? But it was a lot darker and more twisted. Not at all like the Disney version, as many fairy tales are. If you've never done so, it's kind of fascinating to read the real fairy tales. Pretty sure I'm not making that up. Yeah, the original Rapunzel story, popularized by the Brothers Grimm in 1812, involves a pregnant woman craving Rapunzel from a sorceress... Carving, I think it's supposed to say, from a sorceress's garden? No. What is that? Her husband steals it, promising their baby in return. Oh, a woman who is pregnant with Rapunzel wants a salad from a sorceress's garden. Her husband steals it, promising the baby in return, which led to the girl's imprisonment. She is eventually discovered by a prince. They plan to escape, but the prince is blinded and wanders until Rapunzel's tears restore his sight. Not exactly as I remember it, but I'm pretty sure Google's summaries are accurate, right? Oh, right. The prince jumps from Rapunzel's tower and gets blinded by the thorns. Eeh. Anyways. Yes, Google is always right. Right? Especially now that Google has AI. I've got to trust it, right? All right. I think we are going to bring this stream to a close. Thank you, everybody who came and asked your questions and said hello. And hopefully it won't be 2 months before I come back, right? Right? No. I'll try to figure out a schedule. Like I said, I start my new position in a couple of days. So then I'll kind of be able to see when I can schedule streams and hopefully more consistent of a schedule. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But thank you. Thank you. And good night.